You ever seen a grown woman, hair full of shampoo, bathrobe hanging half open, come barreling out her front door at sunrise screaming bloody murder like she's the last line of defense in a zombie apocalypse? Because that was my Tuesday. I'm standing on my own 40-acre ranch, wrench in hand, twisting off my own water valve, when suddenly here she comes. Delilah, president of the Whispering Oaks. HOA, the queen of suburban command and conquer soap. Stinging her eyes as she shrieks, "You cut my water, call 911. He's sabotaging the neighborhood." And just like that, she's dialing the cops on me right there on camera for touching equipment, sitting smack dab on land my family's owned since the days folks still called a phone operator to connect the line. 10 seconds later, I'm just standing there, mind you, still holding the wrench. 20 minutes go by and suddenly 3 county deputies come rolling up like they're about to find a hostage situation, hands on their holsters, sizing me up like I'm Bonnie and Clyde combined. And all because this one lady, Delilah HOA, president, self-appointed czar of all things, pure and regulated, decided my private well somehow belonged to her kingdom. But see, here's the twist. Every single second of her meltdown caught on my 4K security cameras. You want to talk about karma served cold, just wait. Now I know what you're probably thinking. How the hell does turning off my own water cut off her shower? That's where the irony hits like a punchline. Her ex-husband, a corner-cutting developer, if there ever was one, built Whispering Oaks by taking every shortcut known to man. Instead of laying real water lines, he slapped together a janky pressure system that illegally tapped into my granddad's old easement, a line that runs along my property. So when I finally got tired of subsidizing their water use and switched to my own well, boom, the whole subdivision lost pressure. Totally legal. My family's water rights predate their entire neighborhood by about 6 decades. But nobody explained that to Princess Delilah when she bought her marble castle. So, now here we are. Delilah still dripping shampoo, waving legal threats in her driveway, while the deputies sort through a stack of property maps on their cruiser. You could smell her expensive vanilla shampoo and entitlement mixing in the morning air like a perfume commercial for regret. The cops, God bless them, finally get it sorted. Marcus Rivera, the county inspector, confirms everything's above board on my end. Delilah's still fuming, accusing me of destroying her property value and sabotaging the neighborhood. The lead deputy just shakes his head, glances at her and says, "Ma'am, the man turned off his own water on his own land. That's not a crime." Never seen a more satisfying walk back to my porch. But let me back up a little. My name's Jackson Briggs, retired Navy engineer, 26 years fixing nuclear submarines. What that teaches you is first how to solve a problem nobody else can fix, and second, how to spot a drama queen a mile off. Grandpa left me this slice of Texas heaven, 40 acres of mineral rights, water rights, grazing rights, the works. He built everything here himself, dug the well, ran the power, restored old Ford tractors in the shop out back till he was 85. The man could have made a living on stubbornness alone. And for a couple years, life was peaceful until California came to Texas. Some developer bought up the land next to mine, built a row of ranch-style McMansions for city folks, and the crown jewel was a 4,500 square foot monument to everything small-town Texas is not. 3-car garage, marble everywhere. HOA rules longer than the state constitution. Delilah Thornfield moved in before the paint was dry, straight out of a messy Silicon Valley divorce with money to burn and a burning need to control everyone in sight. She talked small-town values, but 3 months later she was HOA president, promising to eliminate rural blight translation, get rid of the ranch that ruined her view. First, it was the livestock. My 3 horses and a dozen chickens were suddenly incompatible with the residential character of the neighborhood. Never mind, my animals were here before the HOA was a glimmer in her eye. Then came the tax hike. Thanks to community improvements like streetlights and a pond, my property taxes exploded from $1,800 to over $12,000. I was paying for amenities I didn't want, didn't use, and never asked for. But the real fireworks started with her voluntary HOA invitation join, or she'd find a legal way to force me in. She started sending complaints. My workshop was too loud, my truck too old, my fence too rustic. Then one day, Marcus Rivera showed up on my driveway with a clipboard investigating her complaint about unsanitary livestock. Poor guy spent hours inspecting. Turns out my horses were healthier than most subdivision kids, my chicken coop cleaner than Delilah's kitchen. He pulled me aside and said, "Jackson, your place is textbook perfect. But that woman next door, she files more complaints in a month than I see in a year. Watch your back." So Delilah stepped it up, filed a petition claiming my property was grandfathered into HOA jurisdiction, demanded I cut my water usage by 60% or else. Delivered the ultimatum herself, heels crunching on my gravel like a battle cry. That's when I knew this was war. Soon after, I caught a guy in khakis skulking around my pasture with a camera. Delilah's private investigator. The man's taking photos of my sprinklers like I'm running a bootleg distillery. She filed a formal complaint accusing me of commercial irrigation and water theft. Said I was hoarding resources during a drought. Her evidence timed photos of horses drinking from a trough. Here's where being a Navy engineer comes in handy. While Delilah played neighborhood Nancy Drew, I dug through county records. Turns out my water rights go all the way back to an 1847 Spanish land grant. The dirt and every drop of water under it belongs to me. And Grandpa's, well, just modern paperwork on rights we've always had. In Texas, you own the dirt, you own the water. I called in a surveyor, Jake Morrison, a legend with a level, and what he found made my week. Delilah's beloved HOA pond. 3 feet over the line, sitting on my property, using water, she had no right to touch. I filed a trespass complaint, sent Delilah a letter demanding back rent for land use, included water consumption stats showing her precious koi pond used more water in a month than my entire livestock operation in 3. And then the plot thickened. Those county records revealed Thornfield Development, LLC. Delilah's ex-husband's outfit built the subdivision and its water system. The same company that cut corners with the pressure system was now building on land they didn't own. You can't make this stuff up. The letter I sent must have hit home. Her lawyer fired back a cease and desist, threatening lawsuits for harassment. But in trying to scare me off, she made a fatal error, claimed the pond was grandfathered, and accidentally admitting it sat on my land. From that point, she was on the defensive. I played it cool. Sat on my porch with a cold beer, watched the sun set over water features that legally were all mine. Delilah, though she was just getting started, convinced a few neighbors to file a joint lawsuit, claimed my workshop created industrial noise pollution, said my consulting business was a zoning violation, hired some hack with a decibel meter to play expert. What they didn't know, my workshop predates their subdivision, even predates the county noise ordinance. Grandfathered use, perfectly legal. Even better, Texas law requires disclosure of nearby zoning conflicts. Delilah never told her buyers about my shop, so I let everyone know. Offered to buy back their lots if they felt misled. Suddenly, Delilah's army of neighbors started asking questions, lots of them. That's when Clarence Webb entered the picture. Retired attorney, lived in the corner lot, showed up with a bottle of bourbon and a folder thick with evidence. Turns out he'd been tracking Delilah's harassment campaign, saving emails, recording phone calls. He'd even discovered she threatened other residents to drum up support against me, offering tax breaks, threatening HOA violations if they didn't cooperate. That my friends is witness intimidation and civil rights violations, especially targeting a veteran. Clarence and I now had overwhelming leverage. Meanwhile, Delilah had started weaponizing city government, got a restraining order limiting my water usage, citing emergency conservation. What she didn't know is I'd already planned to switch 100% to my private well. I shut off my municipal connection, documented everything, notified the court, and continued ranch operations with water I owned free and clear. For 3 days, everything ran smooth. Then Delilah, seeing sprinklers running and horses watered, freaked out, called 911, again accusing me of violating court orders. My cameras caught the whole show, her frantic calls, her outright lies. Sheriff Martinez, Marcus Rivera, they all show up, find everything legal, document both systems, body cams rolling. That's when the hammer dropped. Reviewing footage. I found Delilah confessing on a call before her big 911 moment. I'm calling 911 in 20 minutes. Make sure you've got backup complaints. She wasn't just hysterical, she was staging the whole thing. Then she let slip something about grant money. Turns out Whispering Oaks received $180,000 in federal conservation grants based on fake claims that they were integrating my water source without permission. Clarence and I went digging. We found the company had pocketed federal grant money, billed insurance for water damage that never happened, and filed reports claiming conservation while actually increasing water consumption by 40%. Brad Thornfield, her ex, had his hands in the pot too. Sarah Palmer, an investigative journalist, came out to see the evidence. She connected the dots. Delilah had pulled this scam in 2 other states. Move and harass, neighbors claim, grant money, force sales, pocket the cash. This wasn't HOA drama. This was organized crime, and my ranch, my cameras, my paperwork were about to bring it all down. For 3 weeks, we played our cards close. I acted defeated, left real estate brochures where Delilah could see them, spread word that I was considering selling. Meanwhile, our team, Clarence, Marcus, Sarah, prepared evidence for a grand finale, the annual town water meeting. Day of the meeting, the municipal building was packed. Delilah strutted in blue suit, private security, ready for another photo op. As she accepted an award for outstanding conservation, I asked for a few minutes to show some supplementary footage. On screen, her calls, her confessions, her claims about my water split screen with documentation showing the truth. The room went silent, then erupted in murmurs as people realized they'd watched a live confession. Federal agents stood up. "Miss Thornfield, you're under arrest for federal fraud, conspiracy, and harassment of a military veteran." Brad tried to sneak out the back. He got cuffs too. Cameras flashed. News crews swarmed. The satisfaction was indescribable. Justice live and in living color. 6 months later, Delilah's serving 8 years in federal prison. Brad got 5. Assets seized. Whispering Oaks HOA dissolved, replaced by a new association built on real neighborly cooperation. Property values went up, not down, thanks to all the positive press. My ranch became a model site for water conservation university tours, veterans workshops. Kids laugh and learn where the sound of legal warfare used to echo. That old anxiety gone, replaced by peace coffee and the occasional visit from someone wanting to know how to stand up to a bully. The real lesson: it's never about the rules. It's about control. Give someone a little power and some will use it to build others to tear down. Delilah saw a veteran living independently and just couldn't stand it. But all the legal threats and lies in the world can't outlast the truth, especially when you document everything in 4K. So what do you think? Where's the line between protecting property and abusing power? Ever tangled with a neighborhood tyrant yourself? Drop your war stories below. And if you want to hear how a California Karen tried to steal my friend's yard, well, you'll want to stick around for that one. Trust me, when trees get involved, the fireworks are just getting started.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video của mình.